Welcome back to the Morning Blend. Our next guest teaches tolerance and respect. She also believes in old-fashioned social graces and good manners. That's why she is here today to share dining etiquette tips for kids.
Sitting up a little straighter with her around, right? It's Camille Monk, and she is an etiquette consultant. She was trained and certified at the American School of Protocol in Georgia. She now has a 3-part program that focuses on social skills. So she brought along 2 of her students who have graduated. We've got Brooklyn Struthers, give a little wave, girlfriend, and then Kyer Phillips. Give a little wave. There you go. Hi, guys.
Great to see you guys.
Thanks for being here. They're all like ready with their big smiles and they're sitting nice and tall.
Just the other day we talked on our show about people's pet peeves when they go to restaurants.
Yes.
And one of the main things that people brought up was unruly kids. Kids who weren't doing what they were supposed to when people go out to eat.
Yes, that's a big concern because when you go out to dine, it's an experience that you want to have. And I always tell parents, you can't expect your children to behave in a different manner than they do at home.
Yeah.
So how are we training them at home? So
Great
when they get out in
point.
public, they'll know how to behave.
I like
So
that.
what are some 3, because you have 3 tips. By the way, I gotta tell everyone, we have donuts here as our serving for the day that
Morning
we're gonna learn more
pick-me-up.
about, right? What are the 3 top tips that you give people to remember?
Top tips that I give people to remember when they're going out and dining, especially if they want to showcase their skills. The first main thing is pay attention to the atmosphere. How's the culture in the restaurant? Is it quiet? Is it loud? You need to match that culture.
Smart.
So if they're not being wild, you shouldn't be wild. If it's not Ed DeBevics, don't behave like it. Right? And then another point is make sure that you know how to use your utensils. It's very important that your holding and your placement is correct. And also the main thing is respect, right?
Yes.
Respecting those around you and being cautious and kind to everyone that's in the vicinity.
I like that. Now, did Ms. Monk come into your school to do some etiquette training?
Yes.
What was it like? How did you feel about it?
I felt good. I felt great about it because when I first saw it, I was like, oh, it might be something fun.
Yeah?
Had you learned any of these things before?
Yeah, no.
So a lot of it was new?
Yes.
What was the most interesting thing you each learned? We'll start with you.
That when you don't know where your stuff is, you could do this and you point at it and you'll know where it
And
was
what
at.
is that? That's a D
And a B.
and a B. So if you're at a banquet and there's lots of glassware and china,
Okay.
and you don't know which setting is yours, if you put your finger at a D on your right hand and a B,
on your
you'll
left.
know that that's your bread plate and this is your drink.
I always heard runny right, lumpy left, but
Oh.
that's even better.
But when I teach kids, I have to make it a little bit fun
Yes.
where they can understand it. So
I appreciate that. How about you?
Yeah,
What's
Karen.
something interesting that you learned?
The salt and the pepper stays together because they married and they never should get divorced.
that's right.
Oh, that's a great point. So what
Yeah.
you're saying is whenever you pass it, for example, like if I was going to pass this to you, I probably wouldn't reach over her,
No,
right?
no, you would pass it
I
to
would pass
Brooklyn
it to her. So I
they
passed
stay
both
together.
of them together because they stay married.
because they
Never
should never
divorced.
get divorced like half the country.
That's a great, both of you guys had great lessons that you learned from
Did
your
you get
classes.
to teach your parents anything? Because I would bet sometimes when you come home, they might not have known some of these things.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah, that's cute.
That is so
Okay,
cute.
so let's talk a little bit about what you'd like us to learn here today with what we have.
So we have a nice, delicious glazed donut. Don't get so mesmerized by the donut that you don't pay attention to your skill set.
Okay.
Got it.
So what did I teach you guys in class? What fingers should we be holding up to get our
L's.
placement? Make our index finger and our thumb into an L.
Okay.
And make that hole right there on both fingers.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you pick up your knife. Your knife goes into the hole. Your index finger lays gracefully on top of that knife.
Okay.
Same thing with the fork. That L goes into the hole and it lays right on the hump of the fork. And your fork is your what, kiddos?
Your
Your
holder.
anchor. It's your holder. So
your
you
holder.
place your fork in your donut this morning and you hold it down. And the only utensil that moves is your
Knife.
So let's get to
That's
cutting.
right.
Okay. Oh, I like that. Does it look like I'm doing this right, Camille?
That looks wonderful, Molly.
Okay.
Ah, you could be better, Molly.
Okay, and before we take a bite, we're going to, I love you. It's sibling rivalry. The kids actually asked, are they sisters?
Oh, it's cute. She's my blonde sister from another mother.
I love it.
Yes.
So how many dining styles are there?
2.
Which are the 2?
European and American.
So we have 2 different dining styles.
That's right.
Which one do you like to do?
European.
You look European. You've
Right.
got your food on your left fork.
And let's eat the European style.
Okay.
Wonderful. Nice and easy, right? And you become very comfortable when you're taught how to hold your utensils. Sometimes I see people in public holding their fork like this and doing this or doing that, and it looks uncomfortable and it's not showing much grace or class, correct?
Question for you.
Yes.
We're almost out of time, but when should a child be cutting their own food? Because I think this is something that a lot of parents aren't sure when they should be.
So I start my trainings in 1st grade. So first
grade.
grade usually hits around the age of 7.
Okay.
Where do utensils go? So let's say that we each had a bite of donut and now we want to talk for a little bit.
This
We
is
want to
good.
set these down. Where do they go?
Good question. So when I'm doing my training, I'll usually have a clock. So if you are still dining, your utensils should be resting exactly how Brooklyn laid hers.
Oh, look at
way
me.
to go, Brooklyn.
And
yeah.
when you are done, Brooklyn, what time do we close out at? 6:30.
Whoa,
didn't
look
know
at
that.
you, girl. That is awesome.
Okay.
I'm impressed.
They're wonderful.
I did not know that. I always thought it was when your fork turned over, but I noticed that servers don't follow that rule
Right,
anymore.
because, and I believe it's their training.
Okay.
So if the company is not training their servers to notice these
Yeah.
small little nuances, then they won't get the
Yeah.
hint.
Right.
But it's the closeout is 6:30.
I like that. I learned
absolutely
something.
Love it when you're here. And
Yeah.
what I want to know, because people need to go to our website to find out more about
Yeah.
your classes. You mentioned visiting schools.
Yes.
Do you do private classes? Is it only to schools? What should people know about contacting you and learning more?
So I do organizations, schools, I do private, I do in-home dining sessions with families. I'll bring in a chef and we have an entire experience. They can visit www.childrenandyouthofesteem.com.
Okay.
And you can give me a call, you can shoot me an email, and we'll get right to you.
Do you guys like Miss Monk?
Yes.
She's pretty great, right? You guys are wonderful.
Yes, I was very impressed with both of you. You look great today, but you
Thank you.
also remembered the things she taught you, and you did such a nice job of executing
Yeah.
it today. Thank you so
Wonderful.
much for taking
Thank
time
you.
out of school.
You are likable kids.
coming here. And your principal brought you today,
Yes,
right?
she
Yes.
She's awesome. Oh, yes, ma'am.
Do you guys want to say hi to Brown Street Academy? Everybody say
Hey, Brown
hi.
Street.
Hello, everybody over there.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much. And
That
go
was
to
great.
our website to learn more about Camille, to learn more about her classes.
They start
and
April
everything
6th.
else, themorningblend.com. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.